I'm Steve Coombs, and I'm a stand-up comedian. But I'm sitting right now. I've always loved stand-up comedy. I've always been a jokester in school, bit of a class clown. It's kind of cliche, but that's what I was like. Joke around with my friends, doing impressions, impersonations.
I got a bit of a bad memory, so she recommended we get married on like a momentous occasion, like a specific date. So God love her, she picked November 11th. Lest I forget. But it's awesome because every year you get your anniversary off and 2 minutes of silence.
When I was first diagnosed, first sign was my wife, and she said, "Stephen, your eyes are some yellow." And I said, "Bloodshot?" I said, I'm tired. I got a show out around the bay tonight." And she said, "No." She said, "Your eyes are yellow." And the next day, Father's Day, I ended up passing blood. And we went to St. Clair's Emerge, and we were there pretty much all Father's Day. And eventually, the chief ER doctor came in, and he just said, "You've got a mass on your pancreas creating a blockage." And, it's funny, a word that's so heavy, like just been dropped on you like it was weightless. And of course, my sister, she was diagnosed 17 years to the day that I was diagnosed with stomach cancer, and she passed away when she was 29. And she had a young family. She had a husband and a 14-month-old son. So of course, when I heard the news, it just kind of hits you like a ton of bricks initially. You think, how am I going to tell my parents they got to put another child in the ground? What do I tell my daughters? How do I tell them, Daddy's going to die? I'm still here, but those are the type of things that go through your head. I looked at my wife and I said, we promised the girls we're going to take them to Disney World, and I'm taking them to Disney World. We got to do it. And the doctors seemed to have a plan in place for me. They seemed to know what they wanted to do. They were going to have surgery and take it out. I was writing jokes while I was in the ER bed because, that's what I do all throughout my life. Whether someone dies or something bad happens, I always use humor to deal with it. I recently lost a lot of weight. Thank you. Cancer. The kids were 4 and 8 when I was diagnosed, and they're 7 and 11 now. And Sarah decided she was going to write a story about me in school because the kids got to pick who to write about their hero. And she came home and said, "Daddy," she said, "we got to do a hero project for school." And I said, "Oh, that's great." And she said, "Guess who I picked?" I said, "I don't know." She said, "You." I said, "Wow." And as a dad, it kind of blows you away, and then your next thought is like, why? So I asked her, and she said, "Well, it was either you or Isaac Newton." And I was like, "Well, take that, Sir Isaac." One thing that we did when I first got diagnosed, and one of those unanswered questions of how to tell your kids, I didn't tell my kids because they were so young. And it seemed like surgery was, at least for now, gonna take care of things. I didn't think about the fact that she'd have to research me online. She started reciting my bio one night. "Steve Coombs, funny bald man." And I said, "Where did you get that to?" She said, "Google." I said, "Oh." And she said, "Yeah, I was looking you up for my research project." And instantly I was like, "Oh, I have to make my YouTube page 18 plus. And I didn't know. She knew for about 2 weeks, and she cornered me one night when we were going to bed, and she started doing her survey and asking me questions. And one of the questions was, what obstacle did you have to overcome to become a hero? I said, "Yeah, I guess that was the time I had the stomach infection." She goes, "Yeah, what was the name of that stomach infection?" I said, "That's a good question, Sarah." I said, "Well, it was just an infection in my stomach." And she goes, "It must have a name, just like certain cancers have names." And that's when I knew that she knew, and we had the conversation. "Why didn't you tell me?" Well, and her little sister had walked in the room at one point. I said, "Look at her, she's 7 years old." I said, "That was you 3 years ago, and I didn't want to take that from you." It was a deep conversation to have with her. In the end, learning to appreciate every single moment that you do have and to be in the moment. It becomes less about the big mountain that you wanted to climb or set out to climb, to all the little moments in your life smelling your daughter's hair when she's cuddled up going to bed, getting to read to them every night when they're going to sleep, having them jump on the bed when they get up in the morning, to teaching them how to ride a bike. That was one of the first things I thought about when I was diagnosed. Was, wow, Anna doesn't know how to ride a bike, and she still doesn't. But you know, I'm here and I'm helping her figure it out. We'll get there.